Hi, I'm Schaffer the Darklord, and today we're gonna find the final 5 figures I need from the forest moon of Endor. Hit it.
They say collect them all and the prize is we collect all 12 of them guys. Collect all 31, collect all 41, collect all 79. It's really 81. Collect them.
Hey nerds, welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, please click like and subscribe. And also, please hit that bell so you can get notified of future content. To create his original trilogy universe, George Lucas had to turn to earthly locations to represent alien worlds in a galaxy far, far away. The desert landscape of Tatooine was really Tunisia. The icy tundra of Hoth was really Norway. The murky swamp of Dagobah was really a soundstage at Elstree Studios. And the forest moon of Endor was really the redwood forest in Northern California. Shooting on location in the United States meant the crew had to disguise the production under the fake name Blue Harvest Horror Beyond Imagination to protect the shoot's secrecy from nosy American fans. For Return of the Jedi's in-world characters, this world proved difficult for travel. The rebel soldiers moved only on foot, and their native allies, the Ewoks, had developed primitive but effective means of getting around. But the Empire, even with its unlimited technological resources, was ill-equipped for the environmental challenges encountered in such rugged terrain. Their AT-ST walkers could easily navigate boulders and fallen trees, but were clumsy and vulnerable in battle. Luckily for us, the Empire chose this third movie to reveal a new vehicle capable of navigating these dense woods. Something small and sleek and very, very fast. Kenner created a toy version of this transport for their 3 3/4 inch Star Wars line, and during a recent visit to Play With This Toys and Collectibles in Merchantville, New Jersey, I picked one up for my collection. Speeder Bike. Released in 1983 for the Return of the Jedi line, the Speeder Bike was, and remains, one of my top favorite Star Wars vehicles Kenner ever produced. This tiny toy is an impressive feat of engineering. A spring-loaded bar holds an action figure in place, and a pair of spring-loaded legs support the bike's body in perfect balance when parked. When lifted from its standing position, the legs swing down, lifting up a pair of rear exhaust flaps. But these flaps connect to the bike really delicately, which makes finding a vintage speeder bike in the wild with both flaps still intact 43 years later pretty difficult. The posable belly gun also tends to be missing on the secondary market. This vehicle's greatest detail is one of the best play features Kenner created for any of their Star Wars toys. On the rear of the bike is this bundle, which is actually a button, and when pressed, it launches a spring-loaded explosion effect. Oh yeah, I never grew tired of blowing up biker scouts on the one I had as a kid. Not only does this toy bring back wonderful childhood memories, but it's small enough to fit perfectly inside my display cases, along with a Starback card from Etsy seller Star Wars Toy Closet. I am absolutely thrilled to have one of these again, and to add it to my collection. But this collection has never been about the Kenner vehicles. It's about the Kenner action figures, specifically the first 79, which is really 81. And today, we're gonna add 5 more figures to that collection, none of which I had as a kid, all of which are from the Endor scenes in Return of the Jedi, starting with Han Solo in trench coat. This is the look we see our beloved smuggler turned rebel general wear during the Battle of Endor. But we only see him wear it for 15 minutes and 30 seconds of screen time. He wears it when the rebel strike team lands on Endor and when the heroes are taken prisoner by the Ewoks. But immediately after that, when Han, Luke, and Chewie are transported to Bright Tree Village on Spitz, Han's trench coat is gone. Luke is still seen in his camo poncho, but Han's missing trench coat is never seen again in the movie. Did the Ewoks take it? Did Han ditch it before he was tied up? Who knows? But it is really odd that his one piece of tactical gear vanishes before the Rebels' Endor mission has even begun. Harrison Ford has famously stated that he's always believed Han Solo's story was finished by the time the original trilogy reached Return of the Jedi, and that the character should have died in the third movie as a heroic sacrifice for the rebellion. And having just rewatched the movie several times, I now have to say that I completely agree with him. Take away the first 30 minutes or so of him serving the plot as little more than a damsel in distress, and this movie gives Han Solo virtually nothing to do. He spends the first 19 minutes frozen in carbonite before being rescued by his friends, including C-3PO, and then he spends the next 18 minutes blind with hibernation sickness. Then he rendezvous with the rebellion, where he's assigned his mission to command a strike team to Endor to deactivate the shield generator, where he immediately spoils a sneak attack by stepping on a branch. And while Leia and Luke chase after the fleeing troopers that he startled, he just sits around pouting, waiting for them to come back. Then he fails to talk his way out of his capture by Ewoks and loses his weapon and his one piece of tactical gear in the process, but then he gets rescued by Luke and 3PO again. Then he makes an effort to be there for his girlfriend during an emotional moment, and she tells him to get lost. Then he gets into the shield generator control bunker, but only after one Ewok leads him to a secret entrance and another Ewok creates a diversion. And then his plan to get inside the bunker is just the old tap on one shoulder and run away. Then he gets inside and gets captured by Imperial reinforcements. Then he gets saved by 3PO yet again when the droid creates a diversion and the Ewoks attack the Imperials. Then he gets pinned down by enemy fire and fails to hotwire the door as R2 and Leia both get shot. Then he gets caught by Imperials again, but is saved by his wounded girlfriend after she throws his iconic Empire Strikes Back line back in his smug face.
I know.
Then he gets an idea to get back into the bunker, but only because Chewie hijacked an AT-ST from the film's director, Richard Marquand. Then he gets into the bunker for a second time, sets charges, and finally blows up the shield generator. And the final time we see him is during the victory celebration, where he looks like a little boy sitting down among Lando, Leia, and Luke, who all stand like heroes. And that's it. That's all that Han Solo does in Return of the Jedi. He doesn't even fly the Millennium Falcon in this movie. He just gets sad when the friend who betrayed him gets to fly it, blow up the second Death Star, and become a rebel hero. Now, one might argue that Han is flying his ship in this one shot when the heroes leave Tatooine after escaping Jabba. But he was blind just minutes before that happened. And in a deleted scene, we see him walking through a sandstorm without goggles. So I believe that he is still blind, and Leia is the one piloting the Falcon in this one shot. Regardless, we never see him in the Falcon's cockpit in this movie. I mean, it's all just so embarrassing. Earlier this year, I had 2 of this Han Solo action figure, but neither had the cloth trench coat accessory. During a US tour last summer, I did a bit in my live show in which I would hold up one of these coatless Han Solo figures on stage and beg audiences to find and send me its missing accessory in exchange for a box of goodies I would send that audience member in return. Following a show in Washington, D.C., an audience member named Chad Yancey actually took me up on this offer and mailed me my first complete version of this action figure. I kept up my end of the deal and shipped him back a package of merch and toys, including the same coatless Han Solo figure that I had taken on the road. And now I can finally add this Han Solo to my collection as figure number 73. Thanks again, Chad. Next, I returned to Hidden Treasures in Livingston, New Jersey, where I picked up another beloved rebel scum, Princess Leia Organa in combat poncho. This is the look that we see the future Resistance general wear during the Battle of Endor. In contrast to her sorely underused boyfriend, in Return of the Jedi, Leia gets a lot to do. In fact, this is her most action-heavy Star Wars movie. And in my opinion, she is clearly the most kick-ass character in the whole film. She infiltrates Jabba's palace in her Bouche disguise, the sickest non-Vader costume of the whole trilogy. And she even negotiates the bounty on the Wookiee with a thermal detonator, despite being surrounded by heavily armed goons and only being 5'1". She rescues Han from the carbonite, she strangles a mafia boss to death with a chain, she volunteers for an insane mission that nobody wants, she waits for no one before jumping on a speeder bike and chasing down Imperial troops to fix a problem that Han created, she communicates with an Ewok without the assistance of a protocol droid, she beats this guy with a log and executes this guy, she finds out that she has a brother, and superpowers. She kicks this guy to the ground and shoots this guy in the neck. She takes a bullet in battle, and while injured, she saves Han again by killing these 2 guys after slapping him in the face with his own dickish line.
I love you.
I know.
So sick. So sick. This figure is sick too. Though with its tiny Endor blaster, cloth poncho, plastic belt, and removable helmet, it's a very difficult one to find complete in the wild. But this one is complete, and it's joining the family as figure number 74. During that summer tour I mentioned earlier, I found myself in Portland, Oregon, and with a little time to kill before that night's sound check, I visited a terrific vintage toy store called Billy Galaxy, where I picked up Wicket W. Warrick. This is the Ewok with the most screen time and name recognition of all of Endor's residents, perhaps best remembered for his fear of hats. He made an adorable connection with Leia and won over the hearts of a generation. But the only thing more heartwarming than this guy's performance is the story behind that performance. In 1981, a British woman heard a radio advertisement seeking little people to appear as extras in a new Star Wars film. So she drove her 11-year-old grandson, Warrick Davis, to Elstree Studios, where he landed a part as a background Ewok. The part of Wicket was supposed to be played by Kenny Baker, an actor most famous for portraying R2-D2 in the original trilogy. But on the day Wicket's scenes were to be shot, Baker fell ill, and the production recast the role with the young Davis, and thus launched his long film career. Davis went on to play Wicket again in the made-for-TV movies Caravan of Courage and Ewok Adventure, and Ewoks: The Battle of Endor, as well as starring in the non-Star Wars Lucasfilm production Willow. His many other live-action Star Wars credits include Walden Weasel in The Phantom Menace, Wallavan in The Force Awakens, Weetief Cub in Rogue One, Wadabin in The Last Jedi, Weasel again in Solo, and in 2019 he made a cameo in The Rise of Skywalker as an adult Wicket alongside his real-life son, whose name is Harrison Davis. Oh my god, it's all so sweet I can barely stand it. Warrick Davis was a hero to kids my age because he seemed like one of us. He was a kid who loved Star Wars, but he got to be in Star Wars. So for me, his successes have always felt like victories for all of the fans who grew up with these movies. Side note bonus, as an adult, he still seems like a really great dude. Wicket is an adorable character that Davis brought to life by impersonating his dog's quizzical looks, and his action figure will make an adorable addition to my collection as figure number 75. In the last episode, I revealed that my partner Bunny Buxom had gotten me a vintage Kenner C-3PO collector's case for my birthday last November. What I didn't reveal then is that when I first opened that case, I discovered an additional surprise, a hard-to-find vintage Kenner Star Wars action figure that she had tucked inside. Lumat. We also saw this Ewok in the Endor scenes in Return of the Jedi. Allegedly. I say this because I have recently watched and rewatched the Endor scenes frame by frame in search of Lumat, and I still don't know which Ewok he is in the film. I've thought he was this guy, or this guy, or this guy, or maybe this guy. I've searched online forums where some fans claim that he's this guy. Others say that he's this guy, or this guy, or this guy. Making matters even more confusing is that the production photo of Lumat on his card back doesn't look exactly like any Ewoks in the film. So, I don't know. What I do know is that spending hours squinting at brown and tan and gray patches of fur over and over will take a toll on one's mind. Cannot recommend. Lumat was one of the final two figures that Kenner released for the Return of the Jedi line and the first 79, which is really 81, both of which were produced in low numbers, which is why those last two figures are often lumped in with the 15 rare figures from the Power of the Force line in 1985 in a grouping called the Last 17. This Lumat is complete and in excellent shape. Wait, maybe it's this guy. And I am tickled to add him to my collection as figure number 76. Thanks again, Bunny. And finally, my summer tour also took me to Columbus, Ohio, home of the legendary vintage toy store Big Fun, where I found the final Endor figure that I needed. Paploo. We also saw this guy in Return of the Jedi, though he's much easier to spot than Lumat. Paploo is the Ewok who created a diversion for Han's first bunker attack by stealing an Imperial speeder bike and taking it for a joyride. But he can be spotted numerous other times throughout the Endor scenes, looking like a mischievous little berserker. Unlike Wicket, Paploo was played by Kenny Baker, and it really speaks to the late actor's talents that Paploo exudes a unique personality among his tribe, despite the fact that Baker was completely covered in this costume. Paploo is my favorite Ewok in Return of the Jedi. He's also my favorite Ewok action figure. He's just so freaking cute. And though his color scheme might not perfectly match what we saw on screen, it does perfectly match the color scheme of a bottle of A&W cream soda. And I like that. Paploo was the final action figure that Kenner released in the first 79. Though his card back featured a photo of a different Ewok named Ramba, whose action figure wasn't released until the Power of the Force line in 1985. How did Kenner make this mistake? I don't know. What's important here is that I am delighted to add Paploo to my collection as figure number 77. Oh, and guess what? Collection milestone. In addition to now having all of the Hans, all of the Leias, and all of the Ewoks, today's new acquisitions mean I have now collected all of the Endor figures that Kenner produced for the first 79. Just look at them. There is no victory celebration here. There is only Yub Nub.
Yub nub, chop yub nub. Atomi, topi chikin, gnuk doc fling noah.
Who's your favorite Ewok? Either on screen or in action figure form? Let us know in the comments. Also, please visit my website, where you can find my t-shirt, which features every accessory ever made for every vintage Kenner Star Wars action figure. And while you're at it, please download the theme song from this series.
Lando in his skiff, your Wicket, Bib Fortuna, Pruneface, Squidhead, Rancor Keeper, Neon Nun, Biker Scout with teeny gun.
Join us again on my adventure to collect, restore, complete, and display the first 79 vintage Kenner Star Wars action figures. And next time, I am going to complete this collection. And if my Tauntaun freezes before I reach the first marker, then I'll see you in hell. Yeah!
All 79, collect them all in the prize, as we collect all 21 guys.